It seemed perfectly reasonable that he was now standing in the lobby of an elite hotel. An elaborate fountain of black marble decorated the entrance. A high domed ceiling left space for an immense chandelier, which cast a flattering light on the rich woodwork of the furniture. Your usual suite is ready for you, Mr. Moore. A refined young lady smiled politely at him from behind an ornate mahogany desk. Allow me to escort you myself. Your luggage, of course, will be taken care of. With that, she excused herself from her post, and the two walked together through the lobby and down a richly decorated hallway. Several paintings and sculptures lined the walls. The works ranged from ancient to contemporary, from realism to impressionism to cubism to anyism. Yet the decor was selected so that the hotel maintained a perfectly cohesive aesthetic. Every corner of the place exuded elegance. Mr. Moore stared at his reflection in the white marble floor as they strolled along. The hotel can't thank you enough for the donation of part of your collection. You really do have impeccable taste, sir. Mr. Moore's gaze left the floor and scanned up and down the hall. Yes, well, I couldn't allow my favorite hotel to do without my aesthetic touch, could I? The young woman smiled harder. Of course not, sir. They met several of the hotel staff and guests as they walked, and Mr. Moore was greeted with a chorus of, Welcome, Mr. Moore, and Good evening, Mr. Moore. There was a party going on in the grand ballroom as they passed, and a lovely classical piece could be heard dancing across the keys of a grand piano. Several of the party guests spotted Mr. Moore passing and raised their glasses, exclaiming, To Mr. Moore. He appeased them with a curt nod and continued on his way. He and the young woman boarded an elevator. While they waited, she pulled out a small notepad and took notes. What time would you like your morning massage tomorrow, sir? Would you like a wake-up call? What entertainment can we arrange for you this weekend, sir? A string quartet? Of course, Mr. Moore. Only the best. And so on until she was satisfied. She then showed him to his suite. She opened the door into an enormous skylit room, complete with an already burning fireplace, jacuzzi, baby grand piano, and furniture from Mr. Moore's favorite designers. A window encompassing an entire wall offered a breathtaking view of the city. The suite was so immaculately clean, and its decor was so beautifully composed that it almost seemed a shame that someone should stay here. The presidential suite, sir. She glided into the room and proceeded to explain the newest amenities. Last year's appliance models had been replaced with their newest versions, which now offered full voice recognition control. He could command his coffee maker to brew freshly imported Colombian coffee from the comfort of his king-sized bed. Of course, he didn't need to brew his own coffee. Full room service of every kind was available to Mr. Moore at any hour, but it was the principle that mattered. As you can see, we have also updated the decor of the suite. I know that an aesthetic sense as fine as yours grows bored without new stimulation. I hope that our selections suit you. Mr. Moore scanned the room and noticed several new paintings and a beautiful glass sculpture. It was an abstract piece, made up of exquisite curves that reflected and channeled the light of the room in a sort of motionless dance. This will do nicely, he told her. I'm glad to hear that, sir. I'll leave you in peace now. Someone will be up shortly to take your order for dinner. You'll find the menus on the table there. Oh, I've almost forgotten. If you'll just follow me, Mr. Moore. He followed her through the bedroom and into the bathroom, which was itself the size of an average hotel room. With a graceful motion of her hand, she directed him to the mirror above the sink. You'll find that we've fully stocked your medicine cabinet. Mr. Moore first took a moment to admire his reflection. What a handsome man. Not only that, but his handsomeness was wielded with such sublime taste. His sweeping hair communicated just the right blend of abandon and restraint, which was complemented by a stare at once both commanding and disarming. His jaw was hard as diamonds and soft as silk. His shoulders were broad enough to indicate strength, but not so broad as to diminish his grace. The whole package was held together by a $5,000 Armani suit, a fortress of elegance. To the right of his reflection was an ornate golden handle, which he grasped and pulled to open the medicine cabinet. The inside shelves were lined with bottles of pills, a white bag of powder, and a few syringes. Mr. Moore smiled. This will do quite nicely. The young woman left the suite, and Mr. Moore busied himself looking through the dinner menus. A moment later, a servile-looking man in a fine suit was standing with his hands clasped behind his back. "What would you like for your dinner arrangements tonight, sir?" Mr. Moore sat at a fine mahogany table with his head behind a menu. "I'll have the filet mignon, rare." "And to drink?" Mr. Moore looked at a second menu. "A bottle of LeBlanc Chardonnay." "A fine choice, Mr. Moore. And how would you like your women?" Mr. Moore was carefully examining the third menu. "I think I'll go with brunette number 23 in a red dress, redhead number 6 in black, and—" He couldn't decide. "If I may suggest, sir, blonde number 17 would make a fine complement to your choice of wine." "Yes, that will do nicely." "And her dress?" "Surprise me.